How to give some depth to brushes in Affinity Photo. Some panels there. Just go to View and Studio. Key ones are macro, layers, brushes, as well as swatches. Now you can see I've got a layer there. It's got transparency. All I've done is I've created a new layer. So I'll go to the layer menu and new layer. And then I've just applied brush strokes to it. And just go to the brushes and select a brush. And of course you can go to swatches, change the colour. Key thing obviously is to use the brush tool and select a brush. That could be ink brushes, etc. But just try and keep within the confines of the document. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to record some steps that are based on this original source material. So I'm starting recording now. Now I'm not going to record the brush strokes. That's all been done. So that's basically create that beforehand. Layer menu and duplicate. So I'm duplicating all those brush strokes now. Go to obviously you've got layers there. What you can then do is, of course, you can go to layer menu and you can go to live projection. I'm going to use the rectangular one. Projection. What you can do, you can move it around. Now it's a layer. You can see over there, you've got the layer. So you can move that around. And what you can do, you can apply effects to it. And this is all being recorded, all the steps. So don't apply any more additional brush strokes at this point because, of course, they'll be recorded as well. You don't want that because what I'm going to do, I'm going to create additional brush strokes later after the macro has been done. And you can change, obviously, the various things, boss, set the direction, set things for the bevel, change the profile, so on and so on. And just vary them. Just keep varying them. Just give some depth to your design. And close that. So you've got some depth already now with your brush strokes. But of course, what you can do now, you can still, if you wish, continue to work with them. But I'm just going to go to layer, and I'm going to rasterize that layer. I'm going to rasterize and make sense that the effect is turned off. Sometimes I will remember. The moment FX is still on. Doesn't particularly matter. But I like to normally turn that off because if you don't, you'll notice what happens is it will still keep just rejigging it all the time and you'll see the movement there. So it gets slightly annoying. So it's best to always just turn it off. Doesn't matter per se. What you can then do is, of course, layer and duplicate. Now you've duplicated that design. And that, of course, the FX will still be there. But, of course, what you can do, live projection, you can then use, again, that projection there and just move things around. You can see the 3D and it will rejig itself as it does. You can see it just moving as it works it out again. And, of course, what you can do, you can always go to the FX. Now, as you've already got FX there, you've got what you had before, but now, of course, what you can do, you can modify it. Don't have to keep the same one as before. You can change the profile. But I generally like to remove that rasterize with the rasterize feature, remove the effects. Otherwise, you do have that sort of weird flickering design. But it's no big deal. So you can see by just changing the game, going through the various outer or pillow, etc., just apply them. Try them out, experiment, change the various radius, etc. Then click close. So you've got your design. Again, what you can do, you can now rasterize that layer. So you go to rasterize, layer menu and rasterize. And like I say, try and remember to turn it off. Otherwise, it will just be left on and it will just keep being slightly annoying more than anything else. Of course, what you can then do, you've got a layer, you've rasterized it, you can duplicate that layer. And you can do this multiple times, say maybe create 4 or 5 of these duplicate projection effects and rasterize. So you could do that again and again. I could create like 10, 15 layers of these sort of designs. Up to you, of course. What I'm going to do though, I'm going to have with the macro, of course, if I turn it off at this point, stop it. I say I could have gone on a lot more, but obviously I'm just going to, the video will just get longer and longer, unnecessary. I'm just showing you what you can do. So you just do those steps of duplicate, projection, effects, and then rasterize, and repeat that. Of course, what you can also do, you can go and create a new layer. So just a new layer now, layer, menu, a new layer. Go to the brush tool, and you go and create some brushes. There's some brushes there. I've got pens, it's a category there, but of course you could use some of the others. And just add some quick pen brush strokes. And I'm just going to rapidly just draw. Now, avoid the edges, and you don't have to fill the entire layer. Probably best not to fill the entire layer. So just keep it, and just keep changing the colours via the swatches. And just fill it up. Obviously, you've got the background. If you want to, you can always disable that. Make certain it's not visible. Up to you. But you can see generally where you've been drawing. And you can, of course, apply multiple colours. You can change brushes. Don't have to use the same brush. Change the size. There's so many more other things. Maybe apply filters. Those sort of things. Go and select a different brush. Continue to apply. Change the colour maybe. But again, try and avoid the edges. Don't fill the entire layer. Once you've got that layer, and of course what you can do this again and again. So you've got your layer design. You can then run the macro on that layer. So you can go to the macro and then just run it, play. And it's done. You can see the design there. Again, you've got this lovely three-dimensional depth effect with your brushes. And again, because of that effects, you'll notice it still keeps trying to change. And you can remove that it was just my mistake. I should have got rid of the effect. Again, layer menu, a new layer. And then draw some more. Now you maybe use black, use different brushes. Again, just keep working, adding additional layers on top of this design. Make it scratchy designs, make it go maybe in spirals, maybe make it in zigzag designs. Just vary it. Maybe apply other effects, deform, etc. I'm going to show you that later. I know it doesn't look particularly elegant, and you can, of course, be as thoughtful and careful with it as you wish. But I'm just going to show you the various tangles, the various designs. I say change brushes, change brush size. And of course, then you can go back over to the macro and run it. Now it's just a layer. Again, just go to macro, play. And you can see again, design created there. And again, you can see it rearranged because of the effects. Just slight movement there. And you can always go to the layers panel, and they are just layers. You can remove them. You can remove the effects. You can re-rasterize it if you wish, the layer. So you can see the FX one there, and go to that one. I just click on that and I can rasterize it properly. So make certain that's turned off, rasterize, and then rasterize. And it's rasterized completely now. And you can do the same with the other one. You always see that little FX in the layer entry. But it's not important. It will work fine without worrying about that. It's just slightly annoying having it turned on. But see, wish it would default. When I do that every time, it would be lovely if the application would have that as a sticky feature. It would remember that I don't want the effects still to be running. And of course, what you can do with the layer, each of those layers can be modified in terms of blending modes via the layers panel. And you can run through them, just try them. And you can go to each of them. Obviously, if you fill the entire layer and you go with normal, you won't see anything below. But of course, all these have got transparency and you should be able to see through, and you've got the additional bit of blending. I use difference or multiply. Some work better than others. Just experiment. But of course, what you can also do, they're just layers which you can then modify. You can modify them using various like filters. So any of those layers can be distorted. You can see combinations there. And once you've done that, once you've gone through all those, of course, what you can do, you can merge them all via the layer menu, merge them all visible. So that's the top one there. And of course, you can always duplicate it again and continue with it. Or just use normal. Again, because of the transparent. But what you can also do, like say, run the macro again, or maybe go to the filters menu and add additional effects. So filters and distort and deform. And just add some pins to that. And then, of course, you can drag the design out all different ways. Of course, what you can do once you've done that, you can still go and apply the macro to it. Though, of course, at some point it starts to get very pixelated. If you go too far, it probably doesn't look as good. But you can do the same. I could go to any of those layers, the underlying layers, and do exactly the same with the deform. And of course, if I want to recolor it, I could, of course, go to the layer menu and add some adjustment layers to recolor the layers. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to the Graphic Extras channel, always adding new tutorials about Affinity Photo, Photoshop, Illustrator, many others. Please add some comments, always appreciated. A dislike or like. Thank you much.